Michelangelo once said, "The greatest danger for most of us is not that our aim is too high and we miss it, but that it's too low and we reach it." Welcome to Life Talk with Jesse Meester. As an international actor, entrepreneur, and world traveler with millions of followers, Jesse seeks to speak and learn from the most insightful, successful people in the world, sharing love and life together. This is Life Talk, and this is your host, Jesse Meester.
Welcome to another episode of Life Talk with Jesse, and I am so super grateful and excited today because I have my good friend and business partner, Gil Antolin from Luxury World Traveler here with me, actually on a destination that we are both here on in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt. Super excited that you are here with me, that we finally got this podcast going. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. It's about time it finally happened, right?
Oh my man, yes.
Long overdue.
It's been crazy because we have been on Clubhouse a lot, and we were in a Clubhouse room about podcasting, and you mentioned I've never been a guest in your podcast. I'm like, what? How is that? How did that not happen before? And
I don't know. I was quite offended. I see all these random people on your podcast. I'm like, what about me, your brother? Like, I'm not worthy. It's okay. We talk every week or what's happening all the time. And I didn't. Well, in my defense, I didn't even know you had a podcast. So.
Yeah. So
maybe my bad.
So anyway, I'm just glad we finally got it going, and especially on this location because, as you guys know, I've been doing a lot of podcasting with Zoom, and this gives a little bit more real feeling to it. And I'm just very excited that we get to do this. And a lot of people that on Patreon and my Facebook group that know about you, they were wondering like, where did you start this journey? How did you get this going, and how are you where you are now?
Yeah, I think that's a question I get asked maybe 20 to 30 times a week. So I have a very good answer for that. But what most people don't realize is that when I started this, it was as a hobby and a passion project. So I actually started an Instagram page in 2012. I have a son. It's a funny story. I have a son who is now 20, but at the time he was 12 years old. And every year we get together at my family's house for Christmas. It's a very traditional Mexican Christmas. The family gets together. We're there for a week together, whatever. And one day I just happened to walk into the living room, and my son and my two nephews, who were all around the same age, were on the couch, like giggling, passing the phone back and forth to each other, like hee hee ha ha. I'm like, what the heck is, so of course I walk over, what are you little shits doing? Like, what's going on? We're on Instagram. I'm like, what the? At that point I hadn't even heard of Instagram. It was really new. I think it had been around for maybe a year. So I said, well, what's Instagram? They're like, oh, it's like this is all it was, photos and filters. I don't know if you remember in the very early days, it was just filters and photos. We had none of the other applications it does now. And so basically I'm like, I'll never forget it. I'm like, so you're sharing photos of each other? I said, oh, okay, it's like Facebook then. And my son looks up at me from the couch, and so do my two other nephews. Like, I literally had worms crawling out of my nose, and my son goes, Dad, Facebook's for old people. And I was like, excuse me? Yeah. So I immediately grabbed his phone, and I looked, and it just so happened back then, popular page had 9 photos, and there was a picture of the Maldives. And at that point in time, I had no idea where it was. And so that's kind of like what got me hooked on the platform. And I remember spending a couple hours looking at all these photos from this travel page from around the world. And I mean, that's where really the inspiration came from. I'm like, I love that. I want to start one based on what I've done. So that's where it started.
And before that, because I know your story, the inspiring story of like being in real estate and doing really well for yourself. The crash in what year was that?
2008.
2008.
Yeah.
You had this awakening almost, like where things shifted for you, and you became mindful, you became conscious of like everything that was going on and what it was really about. How did it happen? What made you hitting rock bottom, going to, I believe it was Africa, and completely shifting your life there?
Yeah, I mean, that was prior to delving into Instagram. That was about 2.5 years before that, I would say. I was heavily invested in real estate. I had a real estate company and a mortgage company, had a bunch of employees, a big office. Like, I had a lot of overhead, and things were going great. And I just, being a young entrepreneur, I just figured it would be like that forever, and I was well on my way. And then, the world financial crisis happened, and I got caught up in the middle of it, and I lost a ton of money. I lost all my assets, my houses, cars. I mean, everything you think would be important to you. All the materialistic things I was losing. And I had a spiritual advisor, and he saw what I was going through, and he had been through something similar 20 years previous in another, real estate bubble crash. So he's like, I want you to go on a mission trip with me to Africa. And so like at that point, I'm like, wait, I can't even help myself. I'm losing everything, right? I'm losing everything I thought was important to me at the time, everything that I had placed value on, which nowadays is completely different. But so long story short, he convinced me to arrange, and like not only just go, but he wanted me to help arrange the trip and like bring people in. So finally, I remember like one day I'm like, okay, fine, we'll do this. And then I ended up putting together a team of 9 business professionals and my brother-in-law who played professional football. And at that point I couldn't afford to go, but he wanted to go really bad, and so then he's like, I'll pay for you. So then like like the wheels were in motion, and the universe was working behind the scenes to make this happen for me. And then we descended on Africa for 2 weeks in the midst of losing everything, and it was a really, really big paradigm shift for me, because I thought at that point in my life I was like feeling sorry for myself, and I was like, oh my God, I'm losing cars, I'm losing houses, I'm losing, me and my fiance broke up, like all these things that I thought were important. And then I go to an orphanage in Uganda, where, it's like one of the poorest countries in the world, and here's all these orphans that have nothing. They don't even have parents, right? There's no running water, there's no electricity, there's no sanitation. And it was just like a really big eye-opening experience for me, and we happened to raise like a couple $100,000 US to donate and help. And so we thought, we're going here, we're bringing money, we're going to bless you. And I think I've told you this before, we were the ones that in turn were blessed, right? Because we come to this school and they had this I'll never forget it. To this day I can still like recall this memory. We go to the school, they're so happy, they want to do this performance for us. Right, so the school kids, the girls are on one side, they're dancing, the boys are playing the traditional African music, and they just like erupt into like a performance. And I tell everyone this, it was the moment in my life that I learned the difference between the word happiness and joy, right? Because happiness can be fleeting. Happiness can come and go like this, but joy is something that like you exude from the inside. And I was thinking, how are these children so joyful and so happy with so little? And here are like all these guys that we come to the US, we have everything, and mostly everyone back home has everything is miserable, right? And so I remember like immediately I started crying, like all the men started crying. It was like an emotional moment for all of us, but really for me, I was like, wow, how selfish of you to feel sorry for yourself when you live in America and you have the ability to recreate and like opportunity, and these children have nothing, and then in Swahili there wasn't even like a direct translation for the word opportunity, if you can imagine it. Can you imagine? There's like because it's not a concept they can really grasp, like So I decided right then, I said, okay, that's it. From now on, 2 things. One, I want to be paying it forward and helping other people chase their dreams, and like really like, doing this because it was such a great feeling to bless other people, like even financially, even though we were more blessed. And then secondarily, I wanted my new career to be based around travel, because there's no way I could have had this life-altering experience had I not left the United States. It took me flying to the other side of the world in a complete foreign land, in a really, really interesting place to like have the veil lifted and have my paradigm shifted on what I felt like was important and what wasn't. So that's what kind of pointed me in that direction. And then when I got home, I made vision boards, and they were all about travel. And then it was 2.5 years later that Christmas happened, and then I was set on my path that I am now.
Yeah. What a story, man. And just a little backstory for the people listening right now. Gil and we met about a year ago in Dolomites, Italy, on a trip that we weren't like planning to meet, and we got together. It was like a love at first sight situation. Crazy thing is that when we did meet, we had all these preconceptions and beliefs about each other because the person that we were with on that trip was really talking negatively about you, me. So we had these ideas, and I was like, wait, there's something not adding up here. So we ended up becoming best friends, and now we are here in the beautiful Sharm el Sheikh. You can also watch the video on YouTube later, or maybe you're watching it on YouTube. And we have a beautiful view here to see. And this is what we do. So we collaborated our efforts. We work together. We will both work in digital marketing. My team right now is in Russia, Kazan, working with the government. And we also do a lot of luxury travel, luxury lifestyle. So that's like, we just have a lot in common with what we do, and personality-wise and feeling-wise. We're both empaths. So sometimes we look at each other and we know exactly what we're feeling, which is a beautiful feeling.
Yeah, and we have a lot of fun together on trips, right? Like, I think we were just talking about it earlier at breakfast. There should be a camera on it so people could really see like the behind-the-scene dynamics. Because if you just look at Instagram, right? And you'll see us in like Dubai or Marbella or the Dolomites or Sharm el Sheikh, and you see like the polished product, which is fine. But what I don't think a lot of people get is that like this is only the fourth time we really hung out in real life. But like you said, we met on that trip, and even though the person that introduced us was kind of feeding us a bunch of negativity before, within like 2 days it felt like we know each other forever, right? And then the friendship was born, and then you came to Marbella, to Puente Hermano, to visit me, and the rest is history. We've been traveling for the last 10 days together, and now we're off to Cairo, which will be a lot of fun. And
we have so many deep conversations and talks and things like about the future, about love, and a thing that we often discuss on this podcast as well is like the relationships with others, as in commitment and having. You said you were engaged. How is that for you personally? Do you find it difficult to commit to a partner or find someone that resonates and you can travel with and live this kind of lifestyle?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question, because that's been a journey for me as well. Prior to COVID, I was on the road quite a bit. 8 months out of the year, 9 months out of the year, not home a lot. So to date somebody that has like a traditional job where they have to be in an office setting, Monday through Friday, and maybe only has like a week or 2 weeks off. I tried it a couple times. It's not conducive for either way. It's not really fair to them because I'm not around a lot, and it's not really fair to me because they can't come with me. And so that's actually been a journey. I think it's important that, especially for me, if someone hasn't traveled internationally, like extensively, and if they don't want to in the future, then for me it's pretty much like the end of the conversation, because it's so much a part of my life, right? And like I'm going to be traveling until I'm like 85, pulling like an oxygen tank behind me, right? I mean, one of those old people you'll see, and like still doing it, still taking pictures. I don't plan on ever stopping. So it's like my passion, it's my career, and I have just like this burning desire to see as much of this planet as I can before I become part of the planet. Does that make sense? Like that's really what it is. Like I've never been to a country that I didn't find beauty in. I've never met people from a country that I didn't find charming or amazing or make relationships with. And that's like one of the things I feel the most blessed about my job now is like I literally have friends all around the world. Do you know what I'm saying? And like the world is such a big place. We talk about this all the time. Prior to 100 years ago, wherever you lived is where you lived. That's it. You couldn't swipe a credit card and fly halfway around the world. And I just feel blessed that like over the last 9 years I've been able to meet and like do 70 plus countries and meet so many amazing people. And I feel like the travel, anyone that's a real traveler, we're already part of a family anyway, right? Because we share that thing, so we can get together and exchange stories and stuff. And so, I mean, for me, if someone doesn't have that same desire or like that same passion, it'd be really hard for me to date them. So it's not as easy as it looks. I mean, it looks like we're having fun a lot, but it's not everyone has the availability to do this.
And that's why I want to have these open, in-depth conversations about love, about business and everything. Like, having 2 companies myself, I'm expected to be home a lot. I'm expected to be in office or be with the team. And right now, I chose this lifestyle of traveling. And you know this, right? After you have a lot of work to do after this, like, you know, podcast we're doing right now. I mean, and it's a choice. Like it's like continuous like choice of, okay, I know that me traveling so much is ultimately my happiness, my joy, and it might not result into my company making an X amount of $1 million of profit, but in return we get experience and we get love and we get life.
Yeah.
And that's really all we have, because with money we're only really buying time, and you can only do so much of that. So I've made the decision very consciously in my 20s, like, okay, I choose to travel, I choose to do this, live this lifestyle with amazing people. And you know, meeting you, it's just been like incredible, because, you know, we share a lot of the same beliefs and ways of thinking, and being vulnerable and acceptant of you know, a lot of things going on, and that's just, yeah, for me personally, I've come to peace with that. Because in the beginning, I don't know how that was for you, I was stressing that, oh shit, like I'm behind, I'm like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, yeah, I am behind, but I'm also here, you know, living life, and that's a conscious choice and decision I make.
Correct. And I think a lot of people talk about like balance in life.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't feel like, I feel like that's an unattainable goal. And you hear about it a lot. And don't get me wrong, I believe there's ways to reset yourself and to be very organized with what you do. But like having a true balance in life is almost impossible, because life's so unpredictable, right? I mean, you could have your entire day planned out. You could have a schedule. You could have your morning flow and meditation and this and that. But as we all know, like every day something new can come up, or things are unpredictable. And so, you know, when I first started this, I made a decision that I wasn't going to like, the money was okay. It wasn't like the money I was making in the real estate business, but my conscious decision was that, like, hey, I had spent so much time building the company in the past, and I was like, I was overweight, I was very unhealthy, you know, my job was my life, I was stressing. And I remember being on destinations in like Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, or Cabo San Lucas, or Hawaii, and being in these incredible places and not being able to enjoy it, because I was like always on my cell phone, or always worried about what's happening back home. And you know, this process is really once I started to travel and see the world and everything, I've learned a lot more how to be present in the moment, right? Because what is it all worth in the end if you go and do all these trips, or you made all this money and all that stuff, but you weren't able to be present in the moment like we are right now and actually enjoy someone's company, right? And like, I feel like it's a lost art where people sit down at dinner and just everyone stares at their phone, you know? And so for me, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take full advantage of the opportunities and the travel that I'm being offered, because for me, I chose quality of life and creating memories and experiences over the money, you know? And luckily enough, over the last 8 years, like, I have been able to live a lifestyle, someone that has way more money financially than I have. And even those people don't travel as much and get to make as many memories, you know? And like they say,
or wait till they're retired.
Or wait till they're retired and do it when they're 70, 80, like, I'm not doing that, right? And like, really, as you get older, and this becomes more abundantly clear as you get older. I'm older than you, obviously, but your life, a bit, but your life, when you look back, really just becomes a collection of those really, really amazing moments, or unfortunately sometimes those not so great moments, right? And now that I look back, the last 8 years, like, the amount of amazing moments and memories that I've been able to have, to me, far outweighs like working in an office, stressing out to make money, because at the end of the day, like, we're here for a human experience and happiness, right? Not just
such a short time.
Correct.
You know, like, this is the thing. Like, when you I've been in the military. My best friend passed away when he was 30, just graduated, wanted to travel, see the world, finally made some money. I mean, like, we don't know how long we have. So for me to be here right now with you and the person behind the scenes right now is just everything, right? We love you. So I mean, it's so important to realize that, because again, retirement. It's this idea that's impregnated in our brain of like, okay, we gotta save up, we gotta make money, and then we can finally enjoy and but the fruits of our labor. Like, what is like a concept is that? Some people don't even make it to that age, and if they do, some people lose the ability to move. A lot of people
don't even retire,
or they're like in a wheelchair. I mean, a lot of people don't even retire. So I mean, it's
so
very
what are you doing?
like, what do you want? What do you like? Such a conscious way of living is so important, and whatever that is, because some people can be very happy with living indoors, and I have many friends, entrepreneur friends, that just do day trading, and that's what their happiness is. I'm like, okay, for us it's seeing the world and just living and breathing every single experience, right? I see beauty in even this Egyptian furniture right here, right? It's like, it might not be my style, but I can still appreciate it. So going back to your life right now, what is next? Because right now you've built your page, you've built your company. Where do you see yourself?
Yeah, so now I'm kind of transitioning. So like some of the businesses that I had before that I built around my company, I'm no longer doing. And one of the things that I'm most proud of is that I've helped start the career of like 70 other people that have had like this incubator / consulting program that I've helped to like let people get going in a career doing what I do. Because I feel like there's so many people out with passion for travel, and they see all these people doing on Instagram, there's not really a place they can go. So for the last 7 years, I've helped them, visit 350 of the world's top hotels and create their portfolios and get going. But, with that, there's only so much that I can do in a day, and there's only so much time I can devote to one person and passing along this knowledge. And I just feel like there's an abundance of demand for this, because, the next generation, I call them the young kids, like the under 30s, they've grown up on social. And social media has made the world a lot smaller place. And so they've been introduced to a lot of places that, they wouldn't have known about prior. And they see it all the time. They see influencers like us traveling all the time. And so, I know there's a lot of people out there that want to do what we do, but they don't know where to start. So me and some of my partners created a course, and it's a way that we can actually scale what we do and like offer it to the masses, and not just try to do one-on-one consulting. And really that's my aside from content creation and traveling, that is my passion, is to like help as many people get going. And even if they don't want to be travel influencers, like even my post yesterday, I don't know if you read it, it was like very heartfelt. It's about helping people change their mindsets and like allowing them to believe that if they have a dream and they follow their passion and they really go after it, that there is an ability for you to manifest that dream and reach it. And it's not something that we're taught when we're young, right? We're like, most of the traditional educational system, you're taught a scarcity mindset, right? So like, if you win, I lose, right? Or if they win, I lose. Or if I win, you lose. And that's not really what it is. Like, I believe in abundance. I believe that there's enough to go around. I believe there's enough opportunity for everyone. And when it comes to the hospitality industry, there's a very unique situation in that most of the hotels, resorts, and people that run businesses, they don't know how to properly run their social media channels, nor do they know how to create content that's going to want to inspire other people to want to do that. So in my world, I see tens of millions of potential jobs available for young entrepreneurs that can learn these skill sets. And so my course is really there to teach them these skill sets and let people know, like, hey, if this is what your passion is and you want to travel the world and you want to be a digital nomad and live the laptop lifestyle, now's the best time ever. And in my industry, there's tens of millions of potential jobs waiting for you. And here's a course that can help you learn the skill set in order to do that, right? And then the more people that get on board, the more that are actually able to do this. It just makes me happy. Like when I see my past students on Instagram and these incredible locations, creating those memories, to me that's like one of the most fulfilling feelings, is that like I helped get them there, right? Because at the end of the day, what's a better thing than you could do for somebody than to like help them go after their dreams, right? Because most people's families don't even help them do that, or if they're friends.
Do you think that having a big following, and we know this industry that there's a lot of fakes and people that are big, but they only show the highlighted reels. They only show the highlighted version of, oh, here I'm with my private jet, here I'm in this vacation, but they don't show the backstory. They don't show the moments of our loneliness. They don't show the moments of the struggles. Because entrepreneurship, remote entrepreneurship as well, is freaking hard. You've hit rock bottom, I've hit rock bottom, no support system, both single moms, still just, again, it's a journey, and it's a journey for you and me. Like, do you think we have a bigger responsibility now with our following growing more and more and more on different channels, and like to speak up about that, because we see that it is not happening on social right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a very important topic, and I think mental health is a real big issue. So to answer your question, yes, I feel like we do have a responsibility, and that's something that me and my team are working on a strategy right now to like get me more behind the scenes, because what most people don't realize is my greatest skill set isn't even my ability to take pictures and do videos. It's like public speaking, right?
Yeah.
I've had a lot of life experience. I've done a lot of public speaking, and I have like a lot of knowledge to pass along. But I feel like, yes, it is our responsibility, because even like yesterday, for example, after I went for a swim in the beach, I had to like stay on the beach with myself for 30 minutes and really like just center myself, meditate, and really get out of my head, because the amount of work that's been piling up since I've been traveling for the last 20 days is quite substantial. And just like anyone else, yes, I'm here in Sharm el Sheikh and in the Four Seasons, and if you look at my stories, and I was telling my assistants this yesterday, if you look at my stories, it looks like everything's perfect, but behind the scenes, we still have the same struggles as everybody else, and like, even when we get off this podcast right now, as soon as I get off of here, as soon as we're done, I have to go to my room, and what you won't see on my stories is I'm going to work for the next 8 hours, and I have like 4 proposals to get out, and have a bunch of people to get back in touch with, and I have to really, I have to like really go through that. And so it is an important to know that, because with social media also, as great as it is, I also feel like it has set a false level of expectations for most people, and I know a lot of young people feel like they are not able to live up to that. So I think it's important for them to see the struggle and the behind the scenes, and know that like, yes, we are real people, yes, we get stressed out sometimes, yes, we can be in an amazing place like this, and like really have to like ground ourselves, because it can get to be a little much, just like anything else in life.
I'm glad you shared that, and that's also like why I share these long form content with you guys, because Instagram is I see it like a portfolio. You come to my Instagram, you see all these amazing videos and pictures, and that's that. But if you want to get to know more about Gil, me, check out our links, check out our bios, and because I feel being a psychologist now for 2 years, and now choosing this lifestyle, and a lot of people following me for different reasons, I want to connect with everyone, and I want to connect with the person listening right now, and make sure that with this creator economy, like you mentioned, there's opportunity for everyone. And if you look at the opportunity, but you need to see, and you have a clear vision first. And we are out here to help you with that. So unfortunately, Gil and I are one of the few that do that backstory, that really share these struggles, that really share the backstage, but also like the laughter and the sadness and everything. Like, it's please, follow us and join us on a journey to connect and to really feel, who we are and what we're doing. And that's the only way, because just from our pictures and videos, you're not going to see it. You're just going to see, and that's okay. If you're just in it for the beautiful destinations, that's okay. But we have a lot more that we are doing. And so I just really want to thank you, that we finally got a moment to sit down, and I think we should be doing more podcasts about different topics.
Yeah, no, but, honestly, I think we need to do more, because what you guys don't see is that like most of the day, me and Jesse are just breaking each other's balls and talking about what happened the night before, and where we're gonna go next, and I mean like real life stuff, right? And so like when we're in our element, we always have
Yeah.
a really good time, and there's never any hard or hurt feelings or anything.
No.
The next day, we just hug it out and we just move on with life.
I'm thinking now, did we ever? I don't think we even fight, do we? Like we just
Never
I
had a
don't know,
disagreement.
Yeah, but I'm like that's.
Well, that's what happens.
Yeah.
Like attracts like.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so, I think even if we had a disagreement
Yeah.
on something, we'd be able to come to like a rational
Yeah.
decision. I mean, we wouldn't be like, okay, I'm not talking to you for a year.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we have too much. We have too much
Yeah.
history and too much coming up. So
And we have been on a bunch of trips with a lot of influencers that just care about taking pictures and videos. Very, very shallow, and it's so like cringy sometimes and difficult to be around that energy. So find that people and around you that really elevate you as a person, as a human being, and that you just have more to talk and more to share than just that pretty picture or so
yeah, absolutely.
yeah. And also lastly, guys, we will be talking more about the creator economy. I will be doing that more also on the next podcast. And in the creator economy, we will share like, hey, how can you monetize this eventually? Because we just to be very clear, for a long time we just kept giving value and content for free, and now we can monetize a lot of that. So we want to share that with you in the next podcast. And again, is there anything you want to finish off with and share with the audience?
I mean, yeah. First of all, thanks for having me on here. Well, I mean, hopefully this is the first of many, and you guys will get some. We'll do some behind the scenes audio. One of these times we'll throw the phone on the table.
Follow us on social, the stories, and yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but I mean, I just think like, for anyone out there that's hearing this, when you see Jesse's page or my page, just know that like, although it looks like it's just all fun and games and that we just are living this blessed life, there is a lot of hard work that goes into it. Like we spend a lot of times thinking about what kind of content we're going to create, like the destinations we're going to go to. They see the finished product, but they don't. Like yesterday when we were at Farsha, like they're going to see like a reel, right? I'm going to post one reel about it and some stories, but we're there 2 hours and we're sweating and doing wardrobe changes and stuff like that. So I just want people to know, like, it is a lot of hard work. But with that being said, I just think that if you have a passion for creating or traveling, and it's something you want to start, one of the questions I get asked the most is like, is it too late? And I said, no, it's actually, we haven't even hit like the acceleration phase yet. Because the great thing is that there's so many different subjects out there that people want to know about, and they want the connectivity, right? Whether it's like fashion or travel or lifestyle or cars or beauty. I mean, there's a wealth of that. And I believe that like social media has now become that mainstream place where everyone goes to get their knowledge. And there's so much opportunity for so many people, and there's so many different niches that I think the one thing that happens is that people sell themselves short before they even start their journey, right? They think, okay, it's too late, or I'll never make it, or that's just for them and not for me. And take it from someone who was dead broke and had to go through bankruptcy and lost his fiance and knew nothing about marketing, nothing about social media, nothing about photos, nothing about videos, had only been to like maybe 8 countries prior. I followed my passion, and even though you don't know how the journey's gonna go, there's a saying, you can make a journey from like Los Angeles to New York. You don't have to be able to see from LA to New York to do it. All you have to be able to see is like, even if it was in fog, you could drive 50 feet in front of you, but you can still get there. And that's kind of how life is. It's like, you don't have to know how the journey is going to be. You don't have to know all the different ways that things are going to happen for you to reach your goals. But the most important thing is you just have to have the burning desire and take that first step and that leap of faith, And I think if more people did that, they would be very surprised at the outcome. And so for me, anyone listening, like, take it from someone that was in a really, really bad place and knew nothing about what I do now. And, now we have one of the top pages in the world on Instagram. Like, it's truly possible. And I would just encourage you to really go after your dreams and don't worry about how you're going to get there. Just focus on your end goal, and you'll be surprised at the outcome. So
thank you so much. I second that, and I look forward to all the memories. And we're about to make.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate
See you in Cairo, my
yes,
friend.
absolutely.
Safe flight.
You've been listening to Life Talk with Jesse Meester. Thanks for listening to the show. We hope you've gotten some useful and practical information. Make sure to like, rate, and review. And we'll be back soon. And if you want to be the next guest, please apply by filling in the contact form on jessemeester.com or DM Meester Store on Instagram. Till next time, keep sharing love and life.